Okay, coming to you live from Velocity here in Santa Clara. I'm here with Mitch Hill, CEO of OpsCode. Mitch, how are you doing?
I am doing very well. Thanks a lot.
So, you have been CEO now for how long?
A year.
Okay.
I'm like days away from a year.
Oh
so
wow! So getting you at a good time.
Yeah.
And where were you before this? What was your basic background?
I was the CEO of Avanade. Avanade is a joint venture between Accenture and Microsoft. Still is. I founded that company and ran it for 9 years, and then I handed it off to another guy who's still running it.
So what was the appeal of coming to OpsCode? How did they get you?
Avanade is a big technology infrastructure consulting firm. We built scale Microsoft infrastructure, and over the course of my 9 years there, I hired about 13,000 engineers and developers. And when I learned about Chef, I thought, you know what? This tool could do all the stuff that those guys used to do in about 10% of the time. So it took longer than that, but that's the conclusion I came to. So.
Oh, very cool. Now, when you were coming on board a year ago, what were some of your thoughts about, these are the things that I really want to do my first year here, and how was that? Have you had to change, and how have you?
Yeah, the biggest thing was when we had Chef, the open source project came out in 2009, and we started offering Chef as a service. We call that hosted Chef, actually right at the beginning of 2011. So we needed to ship an enterprise product because my background is working with large enterprises. And SaaS doesn't work for a lot of big companies. It doesn't necessarily work for big banks, for instance. And a lot of times big web companies have operated such scale that they actually don't want to go with the infrastructure as a service model. So we needed to ship an enterprise product. That's called Private Chef. We started shipping that in January. Early customers are companies like HP, the HP Cloud guys are using it, Disney, Fidelity Investments. So we're kind of like 6 months into that now, and it's pretty exciting.
Cool. Now, speaking of news, you had some news this morning, and what was that?
Yeah, we announced we've been very close to Openstack from the beginning. Actually, we've teamed with Dell in a number of areas around Openstack. And this morning we announced that Intel would be sponsoring OpsCode and Chef to build the upstream cookbooks for standing up all 5 elements of Openstack. So Intel sponsoring that, but we're teaming with Rackspace, Dell, and HP, and DreamHost, and probably eventually other service providers, so that we have what we'll call an authoritative source for standing up OpenStack infrastructure. So we're pretty pumped. Conversation, those kind of community things come together sort of slowly and steadily. So in a lot of ways, all this stuff's been going on for a while, but when you get to a point where you go, that's a nice little milestone, that everybody feels good about talking about it publicly.
Excellent. And then just to close with, what do you see for your next year? What are you looking for, either from a strategic or product point of view?
Product point of view is usability. I guess what I would say today is that Chef is a phenomenal SDK, and if you're an engineer that operates sort of at the API level, you absolutely love the tool. We're trying to provide a little bit more abstraction, both on the information side, so that can be around reporting, and then also on the UI side, sort of a nicer management console. So from a product standpoint, the usability is going to go up, and then also more enterprise stuff. Enterprise stuff for us is Windows, Solaris, AIX. It's all enterprise features like Active Directory, things like that. And then from a business standpoint, we're going to get going in Europe, which we've been sort of waiting to do till we're ready, but now we feel like it's time to go. So.
Excellent. Mitch, well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Barton. Thanks for the time.